She posted sunsets, road maps, and the kind of photographs thousands envy, smiling under a golden sky, a life captioned with freedom. But between the filtered sun and the smiling snapshots, something changed. On the edge of the Grand Tetons, a search began that would grip a nation, ignite the internet, and leave a family asking a question that had no easy answer: where did Gabby Petito go and who took her? Please help this channel grow, like the video, try the new hype feature, leave a comment and subscribe for more stories. This helps us a lot. Thank you. This is the story of a journey that started like a dream and ended with discovery, heartbreak, and a demand for truth. This is the story of Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito was 22 years old. She loved photography, travel, the open road, the modern van life that connects strangers who follow the same hashtag. In the summer of 2021, she and her fiancé, 23-year-old Brian Laundrie, set off from New York in a converted white Ford Transit van. They documented their trip: national parks, late-night conversations, quiet mornings, and the kind of intimate moments millions of social media followers watched with fascination. Their narrative, a couple on a slow, cross-country adventure, played out on Instagram and TikTok. On the surface, it was the story many young people chase: escape, adventure, and the freedom to live life with the windows down. But behind the pictures, in private moments, in small disagreements, in two interactions with law enforcement that summer, there were signs of tension, friction, and unease. In mid-August 2021, the couple was in Utah. Police bodycam footage from a traffic stop captured an agitated conversation, a Gabby who appeared upset and a Brian who appeared defensive. That footage would later become part of the story investigators and the public would study long after the van drove on. On August 30th, Gabby sent what her mother believed was a brief text: "No service in Yosemite." It would be the last message the family accepted as hers. By September, the story shifted from Vanlife to missing person. Investigative reporting later confirmed the timeline of messages, movements, and the discovery of a body in Wyoming. The final days of Gabby's life are reconstructed from small, stubborn pieces: witness accounts, exchanges of messages, timestamps on social posts, and the van's location. In late August 2021, near the Spread Creek area of Wyoming's Bridger-Teton National Forest, something terrible happened. Human remains were discovered in mid-September, and they matched the description of Gabby Petito. Over the next days, the coroner would confirm what families and investigators feared: Gabby's manner of death was homicide. Authorities reported that the cause involved blunt force injuries and strangulation. No photograph, no post, no clip could rewrite that outcome. A human life had been cut short, and a family began the hardest chapters of grief. This is not a story we tell for shock or for lurid curiosity. This is a story we tell to remember a young life, to name what happened, and to reckon with how warnings get missed. The facts established by investigators were clinical but devastating. A woman who had shared the small joys of a road trip with friends and followers had been killed, and the world wanted to know how and why. In early September, Brian Laundrie returned to Florida alone. The white van that had been the couple's home rolled back into Northport, Florida, without Gabby. Laundrie's parents say he came home and left on a solo camping trip. What came next would explode beyond the quiet towns and into living rooms across the country. Family and friends tried to reach Gabby. Posts that once felt like lighthearted travel diaries became a timeline investigators and armchair sleuths combed for clues. The family reported her missing to local police. Online communities, strangers united by curiosity and conviction, traced photo geotags and last known locations. The public, spurred by social media, pressed for answers, hashtags amplified pleas for help. The case became, in a matter of days, a 24-hour conversation. When human remains were found in Wyoming in mid-September, the FBI took the lead in the investigation. Agents issued an arrest warrant for Laundrie related to alleged unauthorized use of Petito's debit card between August 30th and September 1st, a development that suggested investigators believed someone other than Gabby may have used her accounts after she was no longer able to. The FBI's review of texts and transaction activity concluded that messages and financial moves gave the appearance of attempts to create the impression Gabby was still alive. These findings helped transform the case from a missing persons search to a homicide investigation with a person of interest at its center. Laundrie did not talk publicly with authorities and was reported missing just days after the van returned to Florida. The Carlton Reserve, a vast, swampy nature preserve not far from the Laundrie family home, became the focus of an intense search. Law enforcement deployed drones, search teams, and divers. The case drew both professional investigators and private individuals searching for answers. The Petito case unfolded in public. Bodycam footage, leaked snippets, frantic social media tracking the internet operated like 1,000 private investigators. That brought attention, but it also brought pitfalls, misidentifications, conspiracy theories, and an intense media spotlight for grieving family members. Many observers later asked a hard, uncomfortable question: why did this case capture national attention so quickly, while other missing persons, particularly people of color, often go years unnoticed? On October 20, 2021, weeks after Gabby's body was found, human remains consistent with Brian Laundrie were discovered in Florida's Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. Near those remains, authorities recovered a notebook. In that notebook, Laundrie purportedly wrote what investigators described as a confession, stating that he had ended her life. Autopsy reports later confirmed Laundrie died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Those findings closed the physical search for Laundrie, but opened new legal and emotional questions for everyone touched by the case. Gabby's parents, Nicole and Jim, watched the world's attention mix with their private grief. They navigated the gaping spaces left by a daughter who would not return, all while facing a long public aftermath, official statements, media requests, and the complicated aftermath of online speculation. Legally, the case had an unusual and tragic arc. With Laundrie deceased, and an apparent confession in hand, prosecutors faced the reality that there would be no trial to determine criminal guilt in open court. The coroner's finding that Gabby's death was a homicide, and the evidence recovered by investigators, shaped public understanding, but without a criminal trial, many legal formalities, cross-examination, jury findings never took place. Yet in the quiet aftermath, the most persistent truth remained the same: a young life had ended far too soon, and family and friends continued to mourn. Interviews with Gabby's mother and father reveal a grief that does not resolve with facts or confessions. They speak, instead, of a daughter they miss every day. The case's legal endpoints may be limited, but the consequences, personal, societal, cultural, are lasting. This story is about much more than a timeline or a headline. It is about how we see one another on camera, on the road, and in the moments we choose to notice or to look away. It is about where our curiosity turns to compassion, or to accusation. It is about the people left behind who carry the weight of unanswered questions and the fragile hope that change might come from tragedy. For those who followed this case closely, and for those who only learned tonight, let this be a reminder: behind every trending topic is a human being, a family, a life. Remember their names, learn their stories with care, and let our interest in justice lift up victims and survivors, not exploit them. If you or someone you love is facing domestic violence, there are resources that can help. We will put links and support hotlines in the description. If you share this episode, do it to remember and to educate, not to sensationalize. Let us keep Gabby's memory anchored in dignity. Gabby Petito was more than a headline. She was a daughter, a friend, a creative spirit whose life was cut short. We tell her story not because it is sensational, but because it matters. Missing and mourned and never forgotten.